Back here at Duluth, landlord is accused of setting a building he managed on fire. Travis Carlson is now charged with first-degree arson following a fire last week in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. It happened Thursday morning on West 4th Street. According to court documents, police saw flames in the second story of the duplex where Carlson lived and heard the song "We Didn't Start the Fire" blaring from the apartment. The downstairs tenant said he heard Carlson smashing glass and breaking things. Then Carlson knocked on the downstairs tenant's apartment and told him the house was on fire. A neighbor called 911 and said they saw Carlson under his truck with gas cans and going in and out of the house. Investigators found a drilled hole in the gas tank of Carlson's truck, several wires of the house's electrical panel pulled out, and burned accelerant in the upstairs apartment. Now, the next day, Carlson was found with burns on his legs and arms, faces 20 years in prison. No word on a motive.